Hello, everyone. John, how are you doing today? I had such an interesting walk to the studio. So many people out and about.
I'm great, Emma. And yes, I noticed that too. It's always busy in the city, isn't it? It makes you think about how different city life is from other places.
That's a perfect thought to start us off. Welcome, everyone, to the English Speaking School podcast. We are so happy you are here to learn English with us.
Today, our topic is all about life in a big city. We're going to explore what it's like to live in a large urban area.
That's right. We'll talk about the good things, the advantages, and also the not-so-good things, the disadvantages of city life.
And as we do this, you'll learn important English. We will focus on how to compare things, like saying City A is bigger than City B, or City C is the most exciting.
So get ready to improve your vocabulary and practice using comparatives and superlatives. Let's dive in. That's a fantastic plan, John. I'm already thinking about how we can compare the busiest cities or find the most beautiful parks in different places. Using superlatives like that is super helpful.
Exactly. And before we get too deep into our topic, a quick note for all our amazing listeners. If you're enjoying learning English with us and finding these tips helpful, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast.
Yes, subscribing means you'll never miss an episode, and it really helps our show grow. Think of it this way. The more subscribers we have, the better we can make the podcast for you. It's one of the most important things you can do to support us.
Also, hit that like button if you're listening on a platform that has one. And please, share this episode with a friend or anyone you know who wants to improve their English. Sharing helps us reach even more learners around the world, making our community bigger and stronger.
Great points about subscribing and sharing, everyone. Your support is the best. Now, back to why talking about cities is so useful for English learners.
Absolutely, Emma. This topic is super relevant because many of our listeners either live in a big city, travel to them, or plan to visit one. Being able to describe city life helps you share your own experiences and understand others better.
Exactly. When you talk about your home city, you'll naturally use comparatives. You might say, my city is more exciting than a small village, or it has better job opportunities. It gives you real-world practice with those grammar points.
That's so true, Emma. I remember when I first moved to the city, I felt like there were more chances for my career. In a smaller town, finding a specific job can be much harder because there are fewer companies.
Exactly. And it's not just jobs. City life often offers a wider variety of things to do. You might find more museums or better restaurants here than in smaller towns. When you're comparing two places like this, we use words like more or add er to adjectives, such as busier or taller.
Those are excellent examples, Emma. It's clear how useful these comparisons are when talking about different places. Now, let's move from why it's important to how you can actually start using these words right away.
Exactly. We want to give you something practical to do. For our first little challenge, we want you to think about your own city, or a city you know really well, and describe one thing about it using a comparative.
Yes, just one thing. For instance, you could say, my city's park is bigger than my hometown's park, or the food here is more diverse. Remember, bigger uses AR, and more diverse uses more because diverse is a longer adjective.
Try to think of something specific. Is the public transport better? Are the people friendlier? Or perhaps are the rents more expensive? Just one sentence to get you started on comparing and contrasting your city.
Those are excellent starting points for comparatives. It helps listeners really focus on bigger than or more diverse. Now, for our second practical activity, let's try a different challenge, focusing on superlatives.
Superlatives. This is where you describe something as the most or the least of its kind. Not just comparing two things, but comparing it to everything else in a group. It's a great way to talk about extremes.
Exactly. So for this one, we want you to think about any city you know. It could be your home city, one you visited, or even one you've only read about. Describe just one thing about it using a superlative.
So if your first sentence was, "My city has better parks," now you might say, "This city has the most beautiful park I've ever seen," or "It has the tallest buildings in the region." Remember to use the most or the est with the adjective, like the busiest or the most exciting.
Right. The first activity was about direct comparison, like City A is busier than City B. This second one is about finding the absolute top or bottom. City C is the busiest city I know. Does it have the friendliest people, the best nightlife, or perhaps the worst traffic problems?
Yes, it really takes your description to the next level. Think about what truly stands out. For example, this city has the most delicious street food, or it's the most expensive place to live I've encountered. Just one strong sentence using a superlative.
Those are fantastic examples, Emma. It's clear how these superlatives can make your description so much richer. Now, some listeners might be thinking, what if I make a mistake? Or what if I don't know the perfect adjective?
That's a really common and important question, John. The most important thing when you're learning English is to try. Don't worry about being perfect. Your goal is to communicate, even if it's not absolutely perfect.
Exactly. It's much better to try and make a small mistake than to say nothing at all. For example, if you say more tall instead of taller, people will still understand you perfectly.
Right, and here's a helpful solution. If you're feeling shy or unsure, start with simple, common adjectives. Think about big, small, good, bad, fast, or slow. It's easier to remember bigger or the biggest when you start with words you already know.
Yes, practice with words you're comfortable with. And remember, the more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Your English will naturally get better and better over time, so just keep trying these comparisons and superlatives.
That's excellent advice, John. To help our listeners hear how these words sound in a natural conversation, let's do a quick role play. John, what are your plans for the weekend? I was thinking about going to that new art exhibition.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I was considering a quiet evening, maybe just watching a movie. But an exhibition, that's more exciting than staying home, isn't it?
Absolutely. The city always has the best cultural events. Plus, it's easier to get there by train than to find parking for sure.
True, parking is always the biggest problem here. But if we go, we could also try that new Italian restaurant afterward. I hear it's better than the place we went to last month.
Oh, yes, that sounds like a perfect plan. Art, then some delicious food. The city certainly offers more choices for dining, too.
Definitely. So, the exhibition it is.
Did you hear all those great comparative and superlative words John and I used in that short conversation?
We used more exciting, best cultural events, easier to get there, biggest problem, better than, and more choices to describe our city plans. Practice these to talk about your own experiences.
Exactly. You probably heard us using lots of those comparatives and superlatives. Let's break down why we chose some of those words and how you can use them too.
First, when I said the exhibition was more exciting than staying home, I used more exciting because exciting is a longer adjective. We don't say exciting-er. We use more before longer words to compare two things.
And I said the city has the best cultural events. Best is the superlative of good, meaning it's better than all others. It's a quick way to say something is top-notch without listing every single event.
Then, easier to get there came from easy. For short adjectives like easy, we usually add er to make a comparative. It compared the train's ease to finding parking, which is usually the biggest problem.
Speaking of biggest problem, that's the superlative of big. Parking isn't just a big problem, it's the most significant problem we face. This structure highlights the extreme nature of the issue.
Right. And when I suggested the new Italian place was better than the old one, better is the irregular comparative of good. You just need to remember that one. We then also talked about more choices for dining.
That's a key one. More choices uses more because choices is a noun, not an adjective. We use more before nouns to talk about a greater quantity of things, like more options or more opportunities.
The takeaway for you is to listen for these patterns. When you compare two things, ask yourself if the adjective is short, like easy for easier, or long, like exciting for more exciting. If you're talking about the absolute top, think the best or the biggest.
John, I heard you're thinking about that job offer in Manchester. What are your thoughts?
Yes, it's a big decision. Our city is busier, of course, but Manchester might be cheaper to live in.
True, our rents are definitely the highest here. But think about the transport. Our public transport is much more efficient.
That's a good point. And this city has more diverse job options in my field, I guess.
Exactly. Sometimes the biggest difference isn't just money, but overall quality of life.
You're right. I need to think about more than just the rent.
Did you notice how John and I used comparatives and superlatives to talk about two different cities?
We heard busier, cheaper, the highest, much more efficient, more diverse, the biggest difference, and more than. Listen for these in your own conversations.
Fantastic! In that second role play, John and I weren't just planning a fun weekend. We were actively comparing different aspects of two cities, which is super useful for making big life decisions, like a job offer.
Exactly. When I said our city is busier and Manchester might be cheaper, I used the ER ending because busy and cheap are both short, one or two syllable adjectives. It's a very common way to compare two things directly.
And then I followed up with our rents are definitely the highest here. Highest is the superlative form of high. It means our rents are at the absolute top compared to all other places, not just Manchester. Remember to use the before superlatives.
That's right. And I also mentioned the city has more diverse job options. We use more before diverse because diverse is a longer adjective, more than two syllables. You wouldn't say diverser, would you?
No, definitely not. And I also slipped in much more efficient for public transport. The word much here adds emphasis. It means the transport is a lot more efficient, not just a little. It's great for stressing a big difference.
Then, when you said the biggest difference isn't just money, you used biggest, the superlative of big. Again, it highlights the extreme. This is the most significant difference. Not just a big difference, but the biggest.
And finally, I used more than just the rent. This more than with a noun like rent is different from more with an adjective. It means in addition to or beyond something, highlighting that other factors are important too. Okay, before we wrap up today's episode, John, let's give our listeners one final, quick, and memorable tip they can use right away.
Great idea, Emma. My tip is make comparing a daily game. When you're out in your city or even just at home, pick two things and compare them using English. For example, this street is busier than that street, or my coffee is hotter than yours.
Yes, I love that. Or take it further with a superlative. This is the tallest building on my way to work. Or the park near my house is the most relaxing place. Just one simple sentence a day like that can make a huge difference in your confidence.
Exactly. The more you actively observe and describe, the better you'll get at using comparatives and superlatives naturally. It's one of the easiest ways to integrate English into your daily life.
That's such a valuable final thought, John. So, to quickly recap our main takeaways from today's episode on life in a big city and comparing things.
First, remember that for comparatives, you use ER for short adjectives, like bigger or cheaper, and more for longer adjectives, like more exciting or more efficient. Listen for those patterns.
Secondly, when you want to talk about the absolute top or bottom of something, use superlatives. That means the est for short adjectives, like the highest or the busiest, and the most for longer ones, such as the most beautiful or the most relaxing. Always remember to use the before your superlative.
And finally, and perhaps most important, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Start by practicing with simple words. And remember, the more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Your English will get better and better.
Absolutely. So, for your quick challenge today, we want you to describe something you did, saw, or ate using one comparative and one superlative. For instance, my lunch today was better than yesterday's, and it was the tastiest dish I've had all week.
That's a fantastic challenge. It combines both skills we worked on today and will really help you embed them in your mind. The benefit here is that you'll be able to describe your experiences and surroundings with much more detail and more precision.
Exactly. Being able to compare and contrast is one of the most useful tools for expressing yourself in English, whether you're talking about city life, travel, or just your daily routine. It's truly a skill that makes your English richer and more natural.
Thank you so much for joining us today and for taking this journey to improve your English with us. Your dedication makes our work incredibly rewarding.
Yes, a huge thank you to all our listeners. We truly appreciate your support. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we look forward to having you back for our next episode of the English Speaking School podcast. Until then, take care.